Our top story today from thegatewaypundit.com. Was this necessary? Biden's DOJ releases reward letter for a would-be assassin offering $150,000 cash to anyone who will finish the job that he started and kill Trump. We're talking about this story and so much more here on the Gateway Pundit's Week in Review. Welcome back to the Gateway Pundit's Week in Review. My name's Elijah Schaffer. This is where we cover the top 5 stories of the last 24 hours in around 10 minutes. Our top story today from thegatewaypundit.com. It looks like the CIA is releasing information from the would-be assassin who tried to kill Trump in order to inspire copycat assassination attempts. Let's talk about this. Our top story today from Jim Hoft. Here's what it has to say. Joe Biden's Department of Justice released a 10-page pretrial memorandum in support of a pretrial detention of would-be Trump assassin Ryan Wesley Ruth. Ruth was captured after attempting to assassinate President Donald Trump on a Florida golf course on September 15th. This was the second assassination attempt on President Trump in 2 months. It is not clear at this point how he knew that Trump would be playing a round of golf at the same course on Saturday. It goes on to say that Ruth was apprehended in West Palm Beach, which is about 20 minutes from this studio right here, with a scoped AK-47 before the Secret Service intervened. Had previously expressed an obsessive fixation on Ukraine and even conducted interviews boasting of his commitment to die for their cause. Now, shots were fired at Trump's golf course in West Palm Beach on Sunday afternoon. And on Monday, the Biden regime released a 10-page document filed in the U.S. Southern District of Florida in support of keeping the would-be assassin locked up until the trial. Apparently, the fact that he was going to shoot the former president was not proof enough to hold him in prison for the pending trial. The Biden DOJ included photos of the would-be assassin's gun and ammo, which you can see pictured. The serial number was conveniently scratched off the rifle. And this was strange. The Department of Justice posted Ruth's reward letter to anyone who will finish the job and murder President Trump. Why was this necessary? Here's what the letter reads. This was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I'm sorry I failed you. I tried my best and gave all the gumption I could muster. It's up to you now to finish the job, and I will offer $150,000 to whomever can complete the job. Everyone across the globe, from the youngest to the oldest, knows that Trump is unfit to be anything, much less the U.S. president. Now, before I start getting into my psyoping, asking myself, is this really a letter from the would-be assassin, or perhaps this is just another CIA op? Now, all of those things could be true at the same time. But it goes to ask, any smart person, why would the CIA intentionally release a letter that is telling people that there's money available if you try to kill President Trump? I mean, not even if the fact that if you actually kill him, but if you want to try to kill him. And where did this guy get all the money? I thought his wife worked at Victoria's Secret. Well, I don't know. All right, we'll continue to track this story as it develops. Speaking of the devil, our next story from thegatewaypundit.com. Nancy Pelosi accused of straight-up lying when confronted about how Kamala actually came to power. It explains here that former Speaker of the House and top Democratic figurehead Nancy Pelosi is under fire after some demonstrably false statements were made to an uproarious approval. To wit, Pelosi spoke to Senator Semaphore on Wednesday, according to the National Desk. As a part of a bigger interview, Pelosi was eventually asked a relevant question. What happened to Pelosi's prior calls for an open primary after incumbent President Joe Biden stepped down from seeking re-election? As she remained of the Semaphore Forum, Pelosi had previously advocated for having an actual primary contest post-Biden. Instead, Vice President Kamala Harris was basically just slotted into the top spot of the Democratic presidential ticket. When pressed on the fact, Pelosi didn't offer much of an explanation. You had reportedly said that you wanted sort of an open primary. If Joe Biden stepped down, the interviewer began. Did you change your mind because you saw all the excitement around Kamala Harris? No, I didn't change my mind, Pelosi said. We had an open primary and she won it. Nobody else got in that race. Now, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. did attempt to run against incumbent President Joe Biden in a primary when the latter was still seeking re-election. Pelosi continued that because she was politically astute and at this point the California representative trailed off as a receptive audience clapped for her. The viral moment was captured by the Trump campaign. The crazy Nancy, we had an open primary and Kamala won it. Nobody else got in the race. Yeah, it was totally an open primary and definitely not a coup. And I can agree to that. The denial from this party is absolutely ridiculous. Acting like for some reason Kamala Harris was chosen by the people when in reality she was installed. And if she wins the next primary, I might even argue that she'll be installed as the czar. the head, the prime minister, as we might call it, to be a voice of reason as the deep state controls the levers behind the scenes as if we're in the middle of the Wizard of Oz. It makes me sick. Speaking of the devil, our next story, CNN's Jake Tapper asks Michigan Governor Whitmer if Kamala Harris should be unscripted appearance as her response is nonsensical. We have the video here. I'll show you in just a few moments. Now, it's obvious that the Democrats have no policies to run on in the 2024 presidential election. Perhaps that is why, when asked about Kamala Harris's unscripted appearances, they can't say anything of value. Michigan Democrat Governor Gretchen Whitmer was on CNN's State of the Union with Jake Tapper on Sunday to discuss the election and Vice President Kamala Harris. Only a few weeks left until it's all over. Rather than talking about this response, I'd like to play for you the full video. Check it out. Watch.
Until this is all over, we've heard other Democrats in your position suggesting that they want to see more from Vice President Harris and Governor Walz in terms of not necessarily speeches in controlled environments, but town halls with voters, more interviews, mixing it up, press conferences. We're only 44 days to the election. Do you agree? Would you like to see more of that?
You know, I have incredible confidence in both the Vice President and Governor Walz. They have shown that they are happy warriors. They are able to answer tough questions, and they are eager to get back into the debate.
Only a few weeks left until this is all over.
Yeah, only a few weeks. I like to hear that part, till it's all over. And they're saying, okay, look, should she be scripted? Is she unscripted? Well, I want to play a little clip for you of her appearance on Oprah, and you tell me. This has got to be one of the fakest people in all of history. Watch.
People. We are an optimistic people. Americans, by character, are people who have dreams and ambitions and aspirations. We believe in what is possible. We believe in what can be. And we believe in fighting for that. That's how we came into being. Because the people before us understood that one of the greatest expressions for the love of our country, one of the greatest expressions of patriotism, is to fight for the ideals of who we are.
One of the greatest things of patriotism is to fight for that of which we are and what could have been, for who we are and for what we shall be. I don't think I've ever seen anyone more fake than that. I want to remind you guys of something really important here. Now, morning kick is something that we have to talk about, because if you've ever wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris, I recently saw a video the other day and I found out he's over 80 and he's kicking butt and working out and staying active. What's even more shocking is he's stronger and can work out longer and even has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. He did this by just making one change. He says that he still feels like he's in his 50s. His wife even started doing this one thing too, and she's never felt better. She says she feels 10 years younger. Her body looks leaner, and she has all the energy that she needs to get through every day. Now, Chuck made a special video that explains everything. Make sure that you watch it right now by going to chuckdefense.com/pundit. That's CHUCKDEFENSE.com/pundit, or by clicking the link below this video. It'll change the way that you think about your health. Once again, that's chuckdefense.com/pundit. Click the link in the description to watch the video. You won't believe how simple it is. Just remember, he's getting older, and right now he has more energy than ever. Discover the 3 things that he did that are sabotaging our health that you can change today at chuckdefense.com/pundit. Check it out. Now, as I mentioned, in the middle of all this, our next story is quite alarming. That's illegal. A U.S. city cites troubling reason for emergency borrowing of $70 million. Let's talk about it. Our leaders want our money, but not our vote. Officials in the Arizona town of Payson have decided to borrow $70 million and use it for various projects that they want, and they've called it an emergency, a move that deprives residents of a constitutional time frame to oppose it simply because they think that interest rates might go up. And they might or they might not. But the maneuver has triggered a lawsuit against the city, its officials, and their actions. According to the case brought by the Goldwater Institute, the bond sale was described as an emergency in order to prevent residents from having an opportunity to organize a referendum in opposition. That's illegal, and the Goldwater Institute is seeking immediate relief in the form of temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction before the bond sale closes and it's too late to organize, it's reported. The Arizona Constitution statute guarantees the popular right of referendum, that is, voters' rights to refer a bill, ordinance, or resolution in the ballot and vote on it. City officials used a narrow exception that allows emergency actions or immediate government action is necessary to preserve peace, health, or safety, the organization reported. But in this case, no such emergency exists. Cities are getting desperate. You can read the rest of the story there at thegatewaypundit.com. And in a mention here, I just wanted to bring this up. It is a tragic story, but it is true that our country is hurting from illegal immigration. A St. Louis police officer securing a crash site was killed by an illegal alien with prior arrest for assault and driving while intoxicated. He continues to remain on our streets because senators like Tammy Baldwin, who's running against Eric Hovde in Wisconsin, are allowed to work with Kamala Harris and the Biden regime in order to keep our borders open, which in turn makes us unsafe. That's why we got to, pay attention to these Senate races, pay attention to these congressional races. It's not just the presidential race of the people that are betraying us in our country. If you like this video and you want to watch more of these, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our Rumble channel. My name is Elijah Schaffer. Thank you for watching the Gateway Pundits Week in Review. Have a great rest of the week as always, and may God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.